We started this podcast talking about our hobbies, and a little over a year later, we decided to have a check in. What started as our declaration of love to the arts turned into a discussion of the inequalities and inabilities to full send without having a backup at hand. Listen in as we rave on our love of movies, acting, poetry, and more.
Hello. Welcome
Hi.
back. Oh my
Oh,
God.
hi. I was too early. I came in and I jumped into it, because I thought you were just gonna say hi.
How dare you
No.
speak over me? Wow.
Yeah, I can't see you, so this I'm doing the best that I can do.
Yes. Audio information only. But
Yep.
yeah, so today, let's jump into it, girl. We started off this podcast talking about hobbies. You got any hobbies? You always said, I don't have any hobbies, and there's no way for me to ever have any hobbies
Oh,
ever. Oh
I'm
my
so sick
God.
and tired of you, one, doing a crazy voice for me and rewriting history. I never said any of that. I said I've been in school my entire life, so I've barely had any time to make hobbies.
If you say
Not that I
so.
was never gonna find hobbies ever.
Yep.
So like you
Wow.
just be adding words to my mouth.
You see, I only speak the truth, so
Mm,
yeah.
okay. Well, I'm gonna just say for the podcast, Chanel likes to embellish, if you cannot tell. She is ooh,
Oh,
I was about to drop a bomb. Let me
oh,
let you talk about your hobby first, but when you hear what she's been doing, you'll understand why she is likes to embellish and is good at embellishing.
wow. That's crazy, bro. But
Yes,
anyways, what's
but
your hobby,
yeah.
Cindy? Go.
So I would like to reflect on the first episode and saying like, yes, I just got out of school and I was trying to figure out what to do with all of my free time. And Chanel and I have discussed it like extensively as far as like hobbies and things. And we've mentioned it a couple times where it's like the podcast is definitely a hobby that we both share and we both have. But one of the things that I'd like to focus on is like my solo hobbies because I think one of the things I wanted to do and make sure of is like I had something that I could do on my own where it didn't matter if I was with people or not, like I could still enjoy it. And the thing that I picked up on was watching movies, actually, which was a hobby that I had before starting school that, I just didn't have time to do. But yeah, I watch movies and I review them actually, at least as of now, which is one movie every month, but I think I want to get onto the track of every single movie that I see, regardless of time, I write a review about it and I post it somewhere just for me to kind of
Wow.
reflect on. Yeah.
Yeah, so audience, your goal is to find Cindy on Letterbox and let her know.
You're going to tell them that it's Letterbox? Let them try to figure out, wow, you see how Chanel be doing
and
me?
let her
She be doing me
know.
so dirty.
Let her know what you think of her reviews. Like them all
Dang.
and
Also,
comment.
I need to go and make sure that my name's not on it then. I don't think my name is on it.
I
I'm
don't
about to
know.
take my name on it. Might take my name off it because there's no picture. So if people actually find me, I will be impressed. If you actually find me, I will actually engage. I'll follow you back.
Oh,
If my name is not on it, if my name is on it, then you're not getting a follow. Like if there's anything indicative of my name, you're not
wow.
getting a follow. But if there's no photo and my name is not like the tag, then yeah, have at it.
Well, you see, I could think of potentially some ways I could find you. Potentially. But,
I'm like
anyways,
looking. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, you have any other hobbies? What about ones that you tried and dropped?
I attempted to crochet to learn how to crochet. Um, that was a trial and serious error because I don't have patience. And I think my biggest issue is not being good at things. And I think that's like a problem that a lot of people have who grew up being kind of perfectionists as a kid, especially with respect to school and just like, my home environment. Like I'm very used to being really good at things and like good the first go. And crocheting, I thought not only can I be good at this, I can also do the hardest things like from the jump. So I attempted to make myself a sweater with no crocheting experience. Like I grew up knitting, but I never had crocheted before. But I was like, it's just it's one hook, one needle. It shouldn't be that bad. And I was humbled, like immediately humbled. I try to make a cardigan, like I mentioned, or a sweater, and I wanted to make like this granny square sweater where you had like flowers in the center, and I wanted to put like sunflowers in the center because sunflowers are my favorite flower. And I made one good square, beautiful square, but I did it over and over and over again. I think I remade that square like 6 or 7 times because I couldn't get the initial. Like once you get the initial foundation started, it's pretty easy to kind of build off it, but the initial foundation just wasn't going. And after I made one square, I was like, oh, this is amazing. I think I finally got it. And then I started going through all the struggles of making the second square that I just dropped it. I actually used all the yarn that I bought for that sweater to wrap presents. Like I wrapped, I wrapped Chanel's most recent birthday present that I got for her using strings from the yarn that I bought to crochet. So that's one thing that I tried and failed. I tried to do dance classes. I realized that dance classes aren't fun unless you know somebody in the class. So that one was a trial and error. Um, I have a sewing machine that was given to me by a friend. Hashtag thank you, Maddie.
Peanut gallery.
That yeah. Oh, hashtag thank you, Peanut Gallery. That I have in my closet that I haven't touched. So I didn't even try that, and that was already a fail. What other things? I feel like there's other things that I started and I just couldn't get into that I've talked to you about, but I think those are the main ones that like hit the head. Where movie watching, reviewing has stayed, but anything like more of like a creative, like using my hands type outlet, I started and just couldn't get into it.
Dropped it like a hot potato.
I sure did. I
Mm-mm-mm.
sure did.
Yes. For me, my current hobbies, well, I would say acting is definitely a strong hobby
She's
of
an
mine.
actor. She's an embellisher. She
Oh my
embellishes.
god, I'm a storyteller.
Yeah.
Yes, but acting is definitely a hobby of mine that I keep up with. Singing is a hobby. Writing is a hobby.
Hmm.
What else do I do? I do ballet,
Mm.
piano. I might be forgetting something, but those
Yes.
are the main things
So
that
this is very indicative of the first conversation we had about hobbies, where you have 50, 11 hobbies and I
yep.
have zero to none comparatively,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Yes. That's okay. We're two different people. You know what I mean? Different strokes for different folks.
I just
Yeah.
find it interesting because it's like we have the same 24 hours, right? Yet you are able to do so much. And I'm just like, I question like how you're able to keep up with all of your hobbies. And I'm like, for
Whew.
a period when you had like all of them kind of on top of each other, your schedule was intense.
It was
Um,
pretty crazy.
so maybe that's where the difference is. Like my schedule, not really intense. Like when I get home, I'm just like I'm kind of just home.
Yeah.
But with you, like you get home or you finish work and you have like an hour before you're off to do something, then you come back and you got something, and then you go to sleep, and then you wake up and do work, and then da da da, da rinse and repeat type thing. I just kind of come home.
Come home vibe. Yes.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. And, there's some hobbies that I picked up and dropped. What would one of those be? Some other styles of dance I have picked up
Yeah.
and dropped. I feel like ballet is the only one that I've been consistent with because
Hmm.
one, I like the company that I do it through. They do it in semesters instead of dropping classes, so I'm like, I'm locked in. I paid the
Right.
money, so I'm locked in now.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
then additionally, it's more like you're building up towards like learning more technique as opposed to just
Hmm.
learning, here's a routine and we're going to learn the routine, or here's some random, workout movements so that we can get cardio. It's more like, okay, we're
Oh
doing
my
this to
goodness.
get better at our ballet technique. You know what I'm saying? So I tend to
Yes.
like hobbies when you are working towards learning, getting better at a certain technique or a skill. That's what I
Sorry.
prefer.
I'm over here laughing because Winston has come and placed himself right in front of me, and he's looking at me trying to get on my lap, getting tangled in my cords, but he's being an immovable force. I
Oh
can't
my
budge
god.
him. For the first time in his life, he's not letting him push him. He's like, give me attention now. As I'm trying to record something, I'm like, come on, let's go. He's not moving. Anyway, he literally was like all tangled. So you'll see when you're editing, you'll see me moving and looking down.
Yeah. Leave him
I would.
be.
So the thing is, if I leave him be, he was about to knock down some lights, and at that point,
Yeah.
we'd have to stop.
Let's let him. Let's let him do what he needs to do.
Okay, alrighty, if you say so. I feel like another, I don't know if you mentioned this, but another one of your hobbies, I wouldn't necessarily say you quit it, but you definitely dropped it, where you were in it, in it, in it. And I don't think I've heard you talk about it in a while, is sewing. Kind of like me.
Yeah, that's because I don't got any room. I don't have any room to
Mm,
do sewing. Sewing, you
yeah,
need
you need
space, you need peace of mind,
a,
you need energy, and you need time.
not peace of mind.
Yes, and I have none
That
of
cracks me up.
those. Yeah.
Right. So, as far as just like, because the whole purpose of the season is reflection, how do you feel as though this like past year and some? Because the first episode came out sometime in April, I think, and then we probably recorded that
April
older.
of last year?
April of 2024, yeah, is when
Yeah.
the first episode came out, but we definitely recorded it way in advance. Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure at the time, instead of doing like a kind of like what we do now in a sense, but a little bit less organized, where it's like we record everything in advance over a course of a couple of weeks, and then we start editing and then we start posting. Because I'm pretty sure in the entirety of the first season was or not filmed, recorded and edited before we posted it.
Mm-hmm.
So the first episode was probably like way earlier than that. I wouldn't be surprised if we did that in 2023, if I'm being for real.
Yeah.
Um, but over the course of that time, let's just say a year and a half, like how do you feel as though you've changed as a person now that you have these hobbies? Like, what's your outlook of life like? If you can remember kind of your headspace that you were at when we first had this conversation.
So let's see. 2023. Oh,
I
God.
know. Think because I moved July of 23, so think we probably started like November, December.
Yeah.
At the latest, I feel like it'd be January of 24 is when we had our first conversation.
Yeah. So definitely, I feel more grounded now
Mm-hmm.
in my hobbies because I feel like back then, and even like today, I was looking at my like I made like a 5 year plan. I
Oh,
Yes, in 2023.
oh, really? You
Drama.
made a 5 year? Did you find it?
Yeah, it's in my notes.
Oh, wow. I'm actually intrigued to know what was on your 5 year plan
Let's see. I'll
in
pull it up.
2023. That's actually kind of cool.
So, on my 5 year plan, so the first category is health. So it says,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, let me not accidentally erase all this. Hee hee.
Oh, don't do
Um,
that.
so it says, look good, feel good,
Okay.
period.
Per.
So in there, it has losing weight, fixing my posture,
Mm-hmm.
um, going to therapy, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
then I have flexibility and strength, getting better at that. I have complete a marathon. Wow.
Like a
That's,
26.2 mile marathon?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Wait, would it be
Crazy.
like you speed walking or are you gonna
Yeah,
run
I'd
it?
be a speed walking. I'm not turning into a
Oh,
runner. I can't do that. I can't. I can't.
dang. Okay.
Crazy. And
Mm-hmm.
then move to a foreign country. That's drama.
Interesting. That is drama.
And then I wanted to create a family tree.
Oh,
Wow.
I remember you talking about that. I remember you actually were working on that.
I
And you got
was.
caught up like grandparent stage, I think is where you started to get caught up.
I got, well, I only have one living grandparent. So I got an
Yeah.
interview from her. So I have all that. I
Yeah, yeah,
need
but like
to,
no, I think it was like at the grandparent stage getting the information for the next above. So I guess maybe it's better to say getting caught at the great grandparent stage.
yeah. So then after that was wealth. So I had my
Mm-hmm.
finances. I had pay off my credit card debt, which I did. Period.
Woo!
Personal debt paid off. That's paid. Student loans paid off. Not quite, but we're working on that.
Right.
Um, I wanted $200,000 in retirement. So this is by 2028.
Okay.
$200,000 in retirement. We're making progress, period.
Right.
And then 60,000 in emergency savings. We're not
Mm-hmm.
quite there, but I have
Working
time.
on it.
And
Yeah. You still
then
got a couple of years.
yes, be able to afford my own place easily, which I feel like that's pretty close, huh? We're pretty
Pretty
close to
close.
that.
Pretty close.
Pretty close. And then I wanted to make more money for work, which I have been working on. I got a promotion.
Ooh,
So,
congratulations.
we're working towards that.
Mm-hmm.
And then for hobby, so content creation, the podcast, check. And
Yep.
then my own content creation, separate from Cindy.
Loading,
It's
loading.
loading. It's loading. Oh my God. And then travel. We went to Montreal, which was on my list.
Yeah, that is
Yes.
true.
And then I'm going to Europe. I had
Mm-hmm.
Ireland and Paris. And surprisingly, Copenhagen, Denmark is on my list. I will
Interesting.
not be going
Okay.
this year, but in the future. And
In
then,
the
of
future
course,
for sure.
Japan, Tokyo, Japan is on here.
2026,
It
2026
it's loading.
is
And
loading.
then wanted to be proficient in languages: Spanish, French, Japanese. Okay, wow. Proficient in music: piano, guitar, drums, music theory, songwriting, creating an album, making music videos, the whole nine. Proficient in
Yeah.
art. Okay, I want to learn how to draw, paint, sculpt, ceramics, calligraphy, write a book. Proficient in dance, hip hop, modern jazz, contemporary tap, proficient in cooking, and the last one is sewing. I wanted a whole wardrobe of handmade clothing.
Hmm.
So you can see I'm a dreamer.
I
But
will
my,
say though, based on
yes,
what you've done, like, or the list, you've actually accomplished a lot, or like attempted to work on a lot of the things that you had listed
yep.
on your 5 year plan. I honestly wish I did that. Like, kind of wrote something after I graduated, which,
Mm-hmm.
I might take that and apply it since we've been talking, like, we talk a lot, just like the two of us, about the fact that we're hitting 30. And I'm sure we mentioned it in this podcast because that's the
Mm-hmm.
whole purpose of like what we started is like we are Black women encroaching our 30s, and the
Ooh,
fact that that's actually so weird. We started this podcast when I was 27.
wow.
Isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but we're encroaching our 30s, and it's like what's the future hold? I feel like I should also kind of make like a 5 year plan, which I
Mm-hmm.
think can be based on this conversation of us reflecting because of all the hobbies that you put down. Like, let me just start writing a list of things that I hope I can try and get good at,
Yep.
over the course of the next 5 years.
And you see, on that note, I've been seeing on TikTok um, curriculums. Have you seen this? Heard of this?
Whenever I think curriculum, I think of school.
Yeah. So people are creating their own curriculum for themselves as like a hobby type thing.
Okay.
And so they'll be like, okay, I'm really interested in learning about one girl was doing economics. So she just
Okay.
created a curriculum for herself between now to December where she's going to read some economics textbooks and like learn about economics cuz she just wants to do that. Okay?
Mhm.
And so people are doing that. They're like, I want to start my fall semester curriculum. Wow. And then they're like, I
See,
want to learn this and I want to do this and I want to do that. And then some people were saying, like, you should have a project at the end of it that you complete and whatnot. You know what I'm saying. And so,
I yeah, I know what you're saying. I still have too much academic
trauma,
trauma. Yeah,
trauma,
too much academic trauma to think that is something that I want to do myself.
trauma.
Yeah,
Yeah. I feel
too
like
much.
that I already do. But to sit down and call it a curriculum kind of
Yeah, I feel
makes me
like
sweat a little.
putting a title to it and then saying a project, because then at that point I'm like, I need a grade. Like, I need to know if I did it well, not
Ooh.
necessarily, and I can't state that for myself. So it's like I'm going to be looking for exterior feedback, and then whenever you bring other people's opinions into it, it doesn't become as fun, and then you ultimately don't want to do it anymore.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Yes, ma'am.
but interesting. I don't know if I think I'd probably do somewhat of the same, but like you said, I would never call it a curriculum. I don't think I ever want to go back to school again or even have the concept of school again if I can help it.
Oof.
Um, but I think that's something that I want to do for sure, especially with respect to the hobbies, because I know we've talked about like one of the things that I want to get back into.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Now
I
we
thought
getting
that
a
was me.
call. Let me turn
I
off my
know. I thought
ringer.
that was. I thought that was me.
Good thing we're not in
What?
school. They would have took my phone.
I might take your phone. That was
ah,
unacceptable, Chanel.
ah, ah.
Yeah.
I'll throw my phone across the room.
as you should. One of the things that I want to get back into is poetry. Like we've talked about it, but I
Yes.
actually used to be really big into poetry, writing poetry. In elementary school, like I won an award in the state of Arizona for like my age and grade for a haiku that I wrote about Arizona. And I remember as well, like I wrote in high school, we had like an assignment where we were supposed to write like I can't remember what book it was, but we read a book and the assignment was like for you could pick out of a list of assignments, but one of them was you have to pick a character from the story that's like a side character and give them plot, like give them a storyline and a plot to them. And I kind of wrote about a woman, a black woman who was I think it was probably in antebellum South, so she was a slave and she had no trust for banks, so she kept all of her money in a bed. And I kind of wrote about her experiences on that. And I remember my teacher at the time was working two jobs where she worked as a teacher and then she also worked at a restaurant and she was working at a late or maybe a bar of some sort. She was working the late shift and she was like, "Hey, I'm a teacher to sophomores in high school. They're supposed to write stories, so I want to give this to you if you don't mind, and you finish it and you tell me whether or not you want to read it, and like continue reading it and learning more." And if they said yes, you got a check mark. And like if you got more than two check marks, it was like a full grade. So I got three check marks, so she gave me extra credit. And she was like, the feedback that they got specifically for mine was like it was just so well done that they were like, this person has could have a career in writing, is what she said to me. So she was like,
Mm-hmm.
you should be really proud of what you wrote. And then I ended up going into a STEM field where all I ever write is equations and answering like
Uh,
book problems and all this stuff. And it like
no.
it's not necessarily as creative. So I think I really really want to have a creative hobby, as seen by the fact that I try to do sewing and I try to do crocheting, and then my other hobby is in like movie watching and reviewing. Like I want to have something that's creative outside of my like everyday, because I feel like it's a part of me that I've had to stifle for so long. So I would love to have, I think, my own website. We discussed this where I just like drop poems and I started writing things. I'll do like open verses on TikTok
Oh
that I'll
God.
send to Chanel.
Yes.
Hey, but you have to admit, the one that I sent you was pretty good.
That's pretty good. You
Yeah.
see, it was
Please.
given Issa Rae.
See, and I don't want it to give anybody. I want it to give me. But I understand that's like, well, who am I? Like, you are influenced by everything, but I could see that, like, the awkward black girl, if that's not me,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else it is, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take it as a compliment, though. I do love me some Issa Rae. I do love me some Insecure.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's just a goal of mine, and I think that's something that I want to detail is, like, being more creative into the next 5 years with my hobbies, so I feel like I can grow more as a person. Because I like just kind of pointing back to your own hobby of acting. I feel like you now have a community extended outside of the people that you knew beforehand through acting, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And I feel as though that now that you have a community, it gives you more opportunities and it helps you get more developed into that world.
Yep.
And I feel as though the best way to grow and move around is through people. So the only way you can do that is putting yourself into situations where you're meeting new people. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Period.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any thoughts and reflections, like especially about the whole concept of like meeting new people, especially going into your 30s? It's like at this point we don't have school, so you don't really have like forced proximity friends. And then also, your job is remote, and then my job, I'm working to have more of a hybrid remote style, so you don't really even have forced proximity in that sense of like people you work with.
Yeah.
So like what are your thoughts on that whole concept of like building that community or building community in your 30s? Like do you believe of that concept, and how do you feel as though like you kind of going into like the acting space would help with that?
Yeah, I think in general, for me, the way that I think of friendships, there are different levels. So you have to reach a certain threshold with me to
A
actually be
certain
considered a friend.
echelon. Have I reached
Yes,
that
you have
level,
to.
Chanel? I'm asking Chanel's favorite question, everybody. Am I your friend?
No.
Podcast over.
Do you like me? No, I don't like you anymore. There you go. So, yeah. So for me, when I am in these spaces, I like interacting with people. I like meeting new people, but it's
Mm-hmm.
more for like the aspect of building community as
Yeah.
opposed to bringing people into my friendship group, if that makes
Right.
sense. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So,
It makes sense.
yeah, I think having those connections, especially when you're doing something creative, are very useful because it gives you more opportunities in the future, right? Like,
Mm-hmm. For
I've
sure.
I've talked to people in my improv class, and I'm going to be filming something with them
So cool.
shortly. So it's like, you know, having the connections is what it's all about. And like,
Mm-hmm.
you see, especially with this hobby of acting, I feel like as I'm going through it and learning so much more, it's like creativity as a whole and like that industry. So whether you're an actor, a writer, whatever you are, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like there is a certain energy to it because like a
Right.
lot of people want that to be their job, right? Like they
Yes.
will sacrifice everything so that they can be a creative professional,
Mm-hmm.
period.
Which I
Make
think is commendable.
It's definitely commendable, but I'm in a unique position and you're in a unique position where our creativity, for me, it feels like a necessity, but it's not what we're trying to. It's not required for us. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I like in a sense that you're saying it's like we have the ability and luxury to kind of
Yes.
adapt creativity into our lifestyles because that's not
Yes.
where we're making our money.
Yes. Because we
Yeah.
went the route of okay, we're gonna do STEM because everybody
Yes.
told us STEM, it's money. You have to pursue
Mm-hmm.
STEM, money, 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 STEM, and so
Yeah.
that's what we did. We listened because we're good,
Mm-hmm.
and so we listened to them. We got the job, and we were really like, we were working hard, y'all. Like
Yeah, 100%.
the amount of work
I
that we put
mean,
in was
Chanel and I met in
ridiculous.
graduate school for goodness sake. So it's like we were
Yes,
working.
and we were both wits end, but yeah,
Wits end. Yeah.
whew. And so we went that route so that we could have a stable career. And now I'm to the point where I'm like, creativity, I need it. I'm starved, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of that vibe for me. And so I'll
Mm-hmm.
follow like the subreddit for acting and I'll talk to other people about acting and all this stuff. And it's just so interesting to me that some people are like, how do I make this my livelihood? And I'm just like, what can I do? Like, let's just see. Let me try this. Let me try this. This is fun. Like, I want to do more.
Yeah.
And it's just like an interesting dynamic for me. And
Yes.
yeah, just thinking about like creativity as our hobby versus, and like we're interacting with people who are like, this is not my hobby. This is my job. Or I'm
Yeah.
trying to make this my job.
And I feel like it's an unfortunate thing, right? Because that's one of the main reasons why I ended up not doing anything related to like literature or English with a focus of like, kind of building on that creative writing aspect is just because I was told heavily it's like that's not where you're going to make money, which is so unfortunate because I
So
feel like the
unfortunate.
arts are so important. Like
Absolutely.
all forms of entertainment or all entertainment is a form of different forms of art. You know what I mean? And that's what we heavily consume, but that's not what's necessarily where all the money's being funded into. So it's unfortunate that the advice that has to be given is for you to pursue a career in art. You have to pursue a career in something else to make the money so that you can comfortably pursue a career in art,
Yep.
right? Because there's so much stress when it comes down to having to support yourself when you don't have like you're looking for work because when it comes to projects, at least I'm thinking from like the TV perspective, right? You get put on a pilot, you think the pilot is great, you do your first 12 episodes, you don't get picked up,
Yeah.
and then after that your residual checks are little to nothing. And
Yes.
so you are kind of in like the awkward space because it's like you don't want to go and pick up another project that you don't know might not get a second season while you're waiting to see whether or not the show that you're on gets picked up in a second season. But then at the same time, the likelihood that you do have that back to back to back when you're competing against all these different people in the same industry also trying to get a job is so unfortunate. So then you have to
Yes.
do like passerby and all that extra anxiety, right?
Yeah.
So I feel as though it's great that we're in this position, and the advice I that we got is like make sure you can support your hobbies. Like if you want to get into arts, make sure you have that job. I just wish that wasn't the case,
Yeah.
where it's like I think they pretty much say unless you go into a STEM career or in sometimes some business industries, you should expect that you have to pay back your loans. Like it's going to take you a long time to pay back your loans, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
was told that if I went into engineering, like your loans would be paid off with lickety split, which is
Mm-hmm.
honestly kind of true. Or it's like you make a decent chunk of money, like you just said, you were able to pay off your credit card,
Yeah.
and you're like slowly being and working to being able to pay off your loans because you do have a STEM career to the
Mm-hmm.
point that you feel as though you can take ballet classes,
Yep.
take piano lessons, singing lessons, go and do acting, have all these hobbies, and still pay off stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just like an interesting environment to be in, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And I always think about, like, for example, you could have been
Me?
the next amazing poet, you know what I mean? You could have been the next William Shakespeare. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say?
No,
Like,
I completely like
yeah.
nature versus nurture, right? Like the if you think of different timelines where it's like if I ignored my parents and decided to be a creative writer,
Yep.
what type of life would I be living? You
Mm-hmm.
know? And the thing that's so interesting is it's like I mean like it's the I think that's interesting is like I can't even fathom because everything that happened in my life is as a result of that decision that I made to go get a chemical engineering degree. Like that's the reason why we're doing this podcast.
Yeah.
You know, like something as minuscule as that, but it's true. Like I think I read a book, not I think. I know I read a book called The Midnight
Mm-hmm.
Library. I read it in a book club where essentially it's about a girl who kind of is in this in between state of life and death. And she's in a library where like the librarian at the time says to her, it's like you can go in and read a book of a life based off decisions that you wish you had made. And you can see the life that you live and how that's going, and then make a decision. If you like that life, you can stay in it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's such an interesting concept where it's like I would love the opportunity to see what my life would have been like if I picked maybe I shouldn't go to grad school, or maybe I should have been a creative writer, maybe I shouldn't have taken that internship at Intel, maybe I shouldn't have taken that full-time position in California. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so interesting the idea of like even simple decisions like picking hobbies could just change the entire course of your life.
It's true. It's true. Yes. And then, I also think it's very interesting that for these creative outlets, only a certain amount of
Hmm.
people make it. And a lot of
Yeah.
times it's the same people.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like every movie,
Oh, are you talking about like the same type of people? They
it's
look
the
the
same.
same?
It's the same. Well, there's a few different facets.
Okay.
One, they keep using the same people for everything. So if you've
Yes.
already made it, they're going to use you for everything, right? There
Yes.
is the
Correct.
people who are like, they come from a line of painters or
Nepo
a line
babies.
of, you know what I mean? The Nepo
Nepo
babies.
babies.
And
Yeah.
then you also have the people who are like, yeah, you can come in because you look like a model. Yeah, come into whatever the hell we're doing. Can you dance? Can you sit? You can't. It's fine. Just get in line.
Yeah.
Just get in line.
Not
You're gonna
get
be
in
fine.
line.
You're just gonna join. So there's kind of all of that going on. But I was watching a snippet of an interview of that new movie Caught Stealing. The
Okay.
one with Austin Butler and
Oh, Zoe Kravitz.
Zoe Kravitz. Thank you.
Yes.
And Regina Hall, right?
Yes. She is in
Yes.
it. Regina
Love me
is
some
in that
Regina Hall.
movie.
But yeah, they were
Crazy.
talking about that same concept of there was
Wait, is it Regina Hall? I think it's Regina King.
oh, Regina King. I always
Yeah.
combine her name and another actor's name. They're
No,
both
there's two there are two Reginas. They're both of their names are Regina. You're just talking I think you're just talking the other Regina.
yeah, is the other one Regina Hall?
I think her last name is Hall. I can't remember.
Okay,
But like
they're the
I
two
saw King.
actresses. I always
Yeah.
because too similar. They're very different, but also
They
similar.
are very different, but like the
Yes,
fact that names are both Regina. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes,
But it's
and
King, Regina
yes,
King.
Regina King. So they were all talking about the concept of how we don't get movies like the 90s anymore. And
Hmm.
it's like there's always the same people in every acting movie and
Yeah,
we don't really like studios wouldn't greenlit, you know, certain movies that we had in the past. They wouldn't have done it
of
because it's
course.
not IP, it's not anything that's tested, everything. It's
Hmm.
like you have to already have something that exists for it to get produced these days, and that's not the case
Right.
for everything. Like weapons, Shout out Weapons. That
That movie
movie,
is
that was
hilarious.
different in
That
a
was
great
so
way.
funny.
Thank
That was
you.
so
Thank you to
funny.
the people who made that
I'm
amazing.
afraid of horror movies, and at the beginning I was covering my eyes, but at the end I could not stop laughing.
So funny.
I could
Oh
not
my
stop
god.
laughing.
Crazy. But yeah, so yeah, it's sad that art now is, well, this might have been the case forever. Who knows? I'm not an art history major. But like it's more apparent now that you have to be rich to really pursue arts in the way that they were meant to be pursued, you
Yeah,
know?
or you just need to have a lot of disposable income, like throwaway
Yeah.
money
But
almost.
even with disposable income, if you are working a job, 40 hours of your life are gone. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I always think
Yep.
about, and this is even not even just for creatives, but for example, uh, think of like Isaac Newton or something like that, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Or whoever else. They literally, their job was to sit there and think.
That's
You
weird.
you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and I even think
Like
of
that's all
like,
you could do is think.
right?
Like you have nothing else to do.
There's nothing else for you to do. You just sit there and think, and then when you're allowed to do that, so many things come up, and like these people have bodies and bodies of work, and that's true for, you know, any philosophers, any scientists back in the day, any painters, artists, whatever. They had
Hmm.
plenty of time to work on whatever the hell that they wanted to work on,
Right.
especially if they were nobility. Like, damn.
Hmm. They had
Damn.
people doing stuff for them, so literally all they could do is sit around and think.
Just
And
sit
sometimes they didn't
around
even have
and
to think that
think.
much.
Yeah. And so that I feel like arts, and even like I just said, like even in mathematics, because we did PhDs, why do you have us doing so much crap? Oh my God. Like there's no time to just sit and think. Like you're
Yeah.
always working when you're in a
Hmm.
PhD program. It's actually sick.
Yeah.
But
Not until you're. It's that sad thing is not until you're close to your end.
yeah.
Like when you have no more responsibilities, like near the end of your third year, your fourth year, and that's
Yep.
the reason why some PhDs end up being like 5 to 8 years because
Mm,
you only get really the time to think after the first 3 to 4.
yep. So yeah, I think in our society we are missing the opportunity to sit and think. It just doesn't
Hmm.
exist anymore. And that's kind of like the basis of creativity, is having
Right.
time,
Hmm.
free time. Where is it?
I don't know, girl. I'm trying to find it.
I'm trying to find her. Hit me up, free time. Where you at, girl?
Yeah, dial
Please.
our line.
And then in this day and age, when you get free time, you're just ready to sleep.
That's my biggest issue. Like, I actually hate that real bad, where it's like when I finally feel like a moment of peace and relaxation, I go to sleep. When it's like I have things to do around me, like a lot's happening,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel as though I know, like Chanel and I will send like to-do lists to each other, and it will just be times where it's like we'll be talking, and I'm like, yeah, I know I have a lot of stuff left on my to-do list, but I don't want to do it. And then after we get off the phone
Mm-hmm.
call, I fall asleep,
Yep.
and I just be sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wake up and I'm still tired and I still got things to do, and it's just like, ugh, release me.
Mm-hmm. And you see, I was watching this video, and this lady was talking about there are 6 different types of rest, I think, 6 or 7 different types of rest. Only one of
Okay.
those is sleeping.
What
And
are
the
the other
rest are all
types?
different. I think there was one where it's like you need, it's peace and quiet. So you need a moment for your brain to not take in anything. So, like, if you just, for example, go for a walk or if you meditate, that's a form
Okay.
of rest that people often
Okay.
don't get, right?
No, yeah, I
And
don't think I've ever meditated before in my life.
yeah, there's physical rest as well. So, like stretching.
Okay.
That was another one. There's more. I don't remember all of them, but I found
Hmm.
it interesting. And she was like, sometimes, you know, sleeping's not enough. You have to get some of these other things. And then, you know, of course, burnout and all that crap takes
Happens often.
happens, and it takes a very 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 years to recover from
Hmm.
that. And then we always talk about like we just need, give us a year of rest and relaxation. Let us take a
I
year
don't even
and
know if that's
sleep.
enough.
I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if it's enough. I want to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm tired. Oh, humans are not supposed to be worked like this.
No, I honestly I think about sometimes even when I'm at my job, the way that we could rework the system to get stuff done, because I
Mm-hmm.
feel as though we've set a precedent at a lot of things to meet certain benchmarks as far as results set by ourselves, when it's
Yeah.
like if we all just leveled down people's expectations, you could get stuff done maybe at a same capacity, if
Mm-hmm.
not more, in a different work. It's like,
Yeah.
take your promises that you make to your exterior companies and take it down by half,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then rotate your workforce, because not everybody is a 9 to 5 type girly.
Ooh,
Like, people
preach.
want to work at different frame points. So if you allow people to set their own schedule,
Mm-hmm.
you could help people who have kids who can't really do, like, they have to do the 9 to 5 for their children, but the people who are like unattached can set their own time and come in and probably get stuff done later in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
So you have people who are happy working morning and night. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then also, we don't need to be working 5 days a week. I feel as though we realized that with COVID,
Yeah.
that we don't really need to be working hard 5 days a week and things will get done. And the only reason why things got done was because expectations were dropped. Nobody was mad.
Nobody was mad.
So we should refix this whole work structure
Yep.
expeditiously.
Yeah. We can reduce the amount of days while we coming in every day, girl. Reduce that.
Yeah.
Reduce the amount of hours.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think humans are meant to work on the same thing for 8 hours a day. And then
No.
I remember hearing that humans, like, I don't know if it's their natural thing, but like one method of work that humans used to do was, for example, it would be like with agricultural schedule,
Okay.
right? Normally, when you do agriculture, you do a bunch of work, right? You have a period of a bunch of work, you work really hard, and then the rest of the year you're chilling. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's time to harvest everything and plant everything again, so you do a lot of work. And so it's
Right.
like, maybe things should be more seasonal. Maybe we should have less hours. Maybe we should reduce the amount of days we work, and maybe even switch up the amount of days we work. Because why Monday through Friday? Who decided that? You
Who
know?
even came up with the names Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
Who came up with the calendar, girl? I got beef. I got
The
beef.
Mayans.
You see, the Mayans had a different calendar, right? Because the
Yeah, they.
calendar we have is some Greek person. I don't know. I forgot his name.
Okay.
Some Greek person, probably European Greek something.
And honestly, the name might sound some similar to
Yeah,
calendar,
because I
to
think
be
it's called the
honest.
Gregorian calendar, the one that we follow.
Okay.
But girl, why don't we have months just be all the same amount of days? Why don't we just do that? Why 30, 31? Why February? I need someone to explain February to me, because
Yeah.
why?
I'm
Like,
sure there's a I'm sure there's a Google deep dive of a scholar, probably a PhD student, who wrote his entire, or their entire
yep.
PhD thesis on this concept.
You see, some people say we should switch to a calendar where there is 13 months, 28 days a month, I believe. And then we have one extra day, which could be like New Year's Day or some random extra day at the end of the year.
Where nobody does anything.
Yeah, we all take a break and chill.
That would be nice.
It'd be real
If
nice. And
only.
then
If
each leap year,
only.
you get an extra day of the
Oh,
year.
so 2 days.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yay, celebrate. You get 2 days off this year. Yay.
Yay! That'd be fun. So, but yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in our society and in the world that do not make sense, but we all
Hmm.
adhere to.
Yep.
I
I
love
also
that.
love how tangential, or like the tangent that this conversation went on,
Yeah.
because we were talking about reflecting on our hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
um I'm ready to conclude. I don't know about you, girl, but I really
Yeah.
do think that, just as an overall, like, it's obvious that Chanel and I have a passion for the arts, and there's
Mm-hmm.
a passion to continue. And then just kind of looking back into where, at least for me, where I was, it's kind of nice to see over the course of the past 2 years, I do have a hobby that I'm keeping up with, and a passion to pursue more hobbies, when before I was like, I don't even know what to do. Like, we literally had
Yeah.
conversations of, what can Cindy do? And I think also the fact of the matter of, like, me being able to find hobbies I can do on my own, because a lot of the hobbies were like, oh well, Cindy, I sew, and like Peanut Gallery sews, so
Mm-hmm.
why don't you sew, and da 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 da. But like, I now watch movies, and you watch movies, but not as like much as I do. So it's still something we can share, but it's still my own, and
Mm-hmm.
so it's kind of nice. So I'm hoping one of the things, I don't know, maybe podcasts keep me accountable. One of the things
Oh.
that I want to do in the next year is I want to start like a, I think I think it's I'm titling my like the website Untitled and Unfinished or Unfinished Finished Untitled, and just a bunch of poems that I have in my head. Like I already have like a notes with a couple where I written a spoken word. I have the free verse. I have a couple other poems where I'm just like, let me just drop them somewhere and build on it over the course of the next year, just as a way to kind of keep myself accountable. So I'll put that out there. I don't know how many people who will make it this far to listen, but like if you find it, support it in any way. I don't know how to make a website, but support me, please.
Please. Yes, ma'am. Alrighty. Yeah,
Do
that's
you have anything to
it.
reflect on?
I just, I be working. I'm tired. I be working creatively. I be working for work.
Yeah.
I'm
Wait
tired.
for her new content, her solo content to come out. Be
Yeah,
on the
my
lookout
solo
for that.
content. Oh my God.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. But yeah,
Hmm.
it should be a good time. But I live for hobbies, as you know.
She does.
I do.
And I'm trying to live more for hobbies. I'm trying to do less focus on like my 9 to 5 and more focus on my 5 to 9.
Period. Alrighty,
Yep.
Cindy. It was good talking to you.
Yeah, it is always. I'm a great person to talk to.
Occasionally, yeah.
She's so funny. She loves to embellish.
Let me act.
Anyway, yeah. Okay, then. Bye,
Okay,
Chanel.
bye. Is someone knocking on my door? Hello? Open the door. Open the door. I'm filming a podcast right now. Goodbye.
Hi.
You want to say hi to the podcast?
No, thank you.
Okay, bye.